Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So I'm going to share on how to use KALAM for online examinations. Before we start, we have to make sure that we have finished adding the groups of our student into sections. So you can check in the KALAM where you can go to the participants and click the groups here. So you should have all the groups, and you can go to overview and check either any of them are not in any group. So we have all students in the group, so we finish with the first part. And then the second part, we also need to make sure that we have our question in the questions bank, so we can go to the administration course administration menu. Okay, and we can go to the question banks, where we should have our questions all in this part. Okay, so this kind of format that I'm going to share is going to be suitable for examination that have calculation. It have one or more than one answer for each of the questions. The answer could also be a short essay, and of course this is going to be very useful for examinations that need to be that the answer need to be handwritten on answer paper. So let's start with the first part of the setting. So let's go to our course. I'm going to take electrical and electronics technology. So generally in this part we are going to use a quiz activity, and in the quiz, okay, it will contain a declaration of integrity by the students. It will also contains the examination questions and answer boxes. So the students are going to attempt the quiz, okay, and while attempting the quiz, they will write the calculation and answers on their own answer paper by hand, and then the student will need to insert their final answer in the answer boxes provided in the quiz in the quiz activity. So if they can answer the question completely, they should be able to enter or insert the answer in the answer boxes. But if they are unable to answer, they can left the answer box blank. So let's make in my course here, I have made one section, and I have named it as midterm examination. Okay, so we can go to first we need to turn editing on. Okay, and then we can add an activity or resource and choose quiz, okay, and click add. So we can put the names of the quiz as number 1 midterm examination or final examination if you wish to, or you can put your course name at the end. And at the description we can add the instruction of the examination. Okay, so these are the basic rules and instructions, so must answer all questions, etc, etc. Now let's proceed to the next setting. We have timing, so we can select, or we can set the time on our, let's say the date is on 16 and we wish to start at 10, so 10, let's start at 2. Okay, and the quiz are going to be 2 hours, so we are going to set the quiz time, so it should be on the same date, 16th of June, and let's give 2 hours and a half, so it will be at 4:30. Okay, so basically this is the duration. 2.5 hours are going to be the duration where the quiz are accessible by the student. Okay, and then we can also add the time limit. Okay, for this course I wish to limit the time for each attempt to be only 2 hours. So I'm going to check hours, and there will be 2. So although the quiz is open for 2.5 hours, um, the student are only able to use 2 hours to answer all questions. So there will be an extra of 30 minutes where this extra time can be used by the student for preparation. Let's say they need to go somewhere else, they need to set up their laptop and so on. So this is going to be an extra time, but bear in mind that it can also increase the chances of cheating. So some student might tend to start uh, later and ask their friend to start earlier so that they can copy answers and so on. Okay, next we will go to the grade. So we are going to choose attempts allowed only one because this is an examination. Um, oh sorry. When time expires, we should choose open attempts are submitted automatically. Okay. Okay, next, the grade. Okay, finish with timings. So now with the grade, attempts allowed only once. Okay, finish with the grade. Now the layout. So we can just a new page for every questions. We can edit this part later on at the edit quiz part, and then show more. The navigation method we should set as free so that the student are free to scroll back and front during the examination. Layout. Next, the question behavior. Okay, shuffle within questions we should select as no, so that the students will able to understand the flow of the questions, uh, starting from question number 1 until number 2, number 3, and so on. So how questions behave, we are going to choose deferred feedback, meaning that the students must submit the entire quiz before graded. Okay, next, the review options. Okay, we have to untick all the boxes. Okay. Okay, so we uncheck all the review option. Yep. Okay, next, extra restriction on attempts. Okay, so we are going to click show more, and we are going to choose browser security. We are going to choose a full screen pop-up with some JavaScript security. So basically these options are going to make sure that the students can only start the quiz or the examination only if the student have a JavaScript enabled web browser. So a full screen pop-up will cover the entire display of their laptop or computers. Some facilities like copy paste will be disabled, and however this option or these settings will not be suitable for students who attempt the quiz or the examination only by using smartphone, because most of smartphones could not handle JavaScript. So if you have that kind of case, we can just select none. Okay, I'm going to choose the full screen pop-up. Okay, next, um, the externalization, um, and that's it. So we can save and display. So right now, the midterm examination is not hidden, so we can go back to the midterm examination section where we have this part here. We can hide it, okay, and we can click the midterm examination that we have just created before, and we can go to edit quiz. So in this part, we can add questions from our question banks. Okay, for example, I'm going to add the integrity declarations. Okay, so this is the integrity declaration that our TDA have shared with us. So add selected question to the quiz. So we have the first question, which is a compulsory questions. The name is compulsory, but basically the student can choose either to answer or not to answer these questions. So we are going to uh, look into this later on. So if we look at the questions, okay, so this is basically all the declaration, and they have to decide either to agree or disagree. So we are going to use multiple choice. Setuju, agree, 100 marks, 100%. Tidak setuju, disagree, none. Okay, and we can just save changes. Okay, and then we can proceed with adding another questions from the question banks. So this time I want to take from categories default DMM 1423, and I want to take these questions. Okay, so now we have two questions. Okay, and we are going to need to edit the maximum marks for each of these questions, especially the first one, the compulsory integrity declaration. So I'm going to set this as 51 marks and the second question as 49 marks. Okay, and we are going to get the total of mark is 100%. So this is important because we want to make sure that the student answer the first integrity declaration questions with answer agree, and they should get a minimum of 51% for this quiz. Okay, and we are going to use these marks as our condition for the submission restriction condition for the submission. Okay. Okay, so we have finished with the quiz. So I'm going to change a bit of the name here, example. Okay, because I have already made some preparation for the exam. Okay, next we have to make a submission port for their answer paper, for the student answer paper. So we go to add an activity or resource. Okay, we are going to add assignment, add, and to make it easy for the student to understand, we can name the assignment as number 2 submission for answer paper for section M01. So this is only possible if the lecturers have finished with adding the groups in KALAM. So basically we are going to repeat the same process for the other section 2, 3, 4 and so on. So the description, we can just put all the instruction that we need to tell the student. Okay, the format of the question, of the answer paper must be in PDF. The name, student ID, session number must all be written clearly, and so on. Okay, next we go to the availability. So we are going to allow the submission from the date of the quiz. So we start the quiz, or we start the examination at 16th of June at 2 p.m. So it should be the same time, and the due date should be the same date, 16th of June. And basically we are going to give an extra of 10 minutes as the submission time. So let's say the student finish answering all the questions by 4:30, so they will have another 10 minutes to scan, to convert their answer paper into PDF file and submit by uploading into the submission pod. So we are going to set the time should be extra 10 minutes from the quiz. It will be 10:40. So bear in mind that this extra 10 minutes is also what we call this extra time 10 minutes will depends on your students. We don't want the submission time to be too long because it will increase the chances of cheating, but not too short, that will not allow student to submit in time. Okay, so next, finish with availability. Okay, remind me to grade. You can select later date, maybe on 16 June, 17 June. Okay, always show description. Okay, tick this box. Okay, and then the submission type. Okay, we can choose a file submission. Okay, and only one file, so student must compile and arrange all their answer paper into one PDF file. And we can choose PDF, or we can type .pdf, or we can also click this choose button and select PDF. Okay, you can also use different format file, but it is recommended to use PDF to avoid any formatting issue. Okay, and then next, submission setting. Okay, require student to click submit button, so we are going to click yes. Require the student set the submission statement, yes. Attempt reopen, so this is for a double confirmation by the student. So make sure that they didn't mistakenly upload and their PDF file. Okay, so submission settings, and then the group submission settings we are going to set as no, because this is an individual assessment. And then we have okay, we have the most important parts here, which is the restrict access. So here we are going to add restriction for this submission pod. This is dedicated for section 1, so we must choose group section 1, and then we want to add one more restriction where we want to make sure that the student must answer agree at the integrity declaration question, and the student must submit all and finish the examination or the quiz before. So we are going to select grade. So student must finish or must get a certain grade for this midterm examination. Okay, example, I use example, and we have previously set the marks for the integrity declaration as 51%. Okay, 51% over 100, so it will be 51. So at least the student must agree with the integrity declaration before they can submit through the submission pod. Okay, and then we can just save and display. and that's it. So now you can just copy and paste, sorry, not copy and paste, we can just edit and we can duplicate the submission port and uh, do the same setting for the other session. Okay, that's it for Kalam. Thank you very much.